welcome to Mind Money Matters live show, 4th season, episode 37. You better know it. All praises due to Allah. We are in our 4th year, our 37th season, and we are excited to bring to you the final week of Health and Human Services. We have been focusing on the Ministry of Health and Human Services throughout the month of September, and we have a action-packed platform for you today. Our aim and purpose, coming straight out of Message to the Black Man by the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and understanding that we were never to be taught. So if we've been taught in any of the institutions by our open enemy, it is never in their intent to teach us the science of business, the science of mating, and the science of warfare, which the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad states that it actually says the science of warfare and the science of birth control. And we know that the science of warfare, based on the teachings coming from the Honorable Master Louis Farrakhan, is that warfare is business, and that with birth control, it includes the science of mating. And so there's no wonder why we have deficits in these areas. So it is our aim and purpose to help to bridge that gap, to bring us that science from those who are actually practicing business and experiencing successes and running into pitfalls and overcoming obstacles, meeting and overcoming, and really actually finding out, whoa, this is the science of how to do this. And so we are bringing that information to you each and every week on Monday, 6 to 7:30, sometimes 8 o'clock, but all praises due to Allah. I am Sister Sharien Muhammad, your one of the co-hosts here on Mind and Money Matters live show. And I am introducing to you our dear brother Jahi, Mr. Communicator Muhammad, the phenomenal. I mean, he is, I really can't say enough about him in terms of him being able to get us the guests. Most of the guests come from Brother Jahi. You know, he just knows everyone. And he gets us the guests that are appropriate for the topic and subject matter, and they just get better and better and better. So we are looking forward to that. We have our special co-hosts when we who representing the Ministry of Health and Human Services, who Brother Jahi will introduce to us in a minute. But Brother Jahi, Mr. Communicator Muhammad, he is the human GPS. He is that fact finder. He is that personnel organizer and trainer. He is the CEO of Falal Worldwide Seminars and Training and Proper Propaganda Promotions. And he comes to us with the Falal Worldwide Word on the Block. Brother Jahi.
Assalamu alaikum. Thank you for that introduction. Welcome to another episode of the definitive podcast for Black business bodaciousness and brilliance. Yeah, almost.
You wasn't gonna give us Sister Sandy's words. She was trying to give us another alphabet.
No, I'm not gonna use that one. This is a family oriented show, so. Sister Sandy, can you hear us?
She has us on mute right now. She can hear, I think, but
I see she's on mute. I'm trying to get her attention.
Yes,
trying to get you engaged.
Right.
Brother Jahi, nobody could hear that. Now you don't put me on live and living.
What it was. I did not see. I did not say what it was.
I say nothing but bodacious.
That's right. You did.
Black, bold, bodacious.
You did. So business scientists, in addition to Sister Sharien Muhammad of More Awareness Now and agrichild.com, we have Sister Sandy Beauford Muhammad, all the way from Soul Wisdom International. Welcome back, Sister Sandy.
Yes. I am here.
So you want to...
yes, you want me to come right on in?
Yes.
Wow.
Come on in.
Wow.
As we talk about what's in the latest issue of the Final Call newspaper, business scientists, make sure you add this to your repertoire of books and newspapers. You must. I don't even realize, I don't even know how you can call yourself revolutionary and for the people, for our community, if you are not subscribing to the Final Call newspaper. The articles in here are absolutely wonderful, dynamic, and necessary to help us to understand or get a feel of what's happening in our community all over the country and all over the world. There is a world section. There's a section dealing with Africa and other parts of the world that's in the Final Call newspaper. So make sure you get your latest issue. This issue, the latest one says War on the Horizon. War on the Horizon. This is for on so many fronts. Not we see the obvious one with America versus the world, and then there's a war that's being waged on the Black community right here in America as well. So get your latest copy of the Final Call newspaper. You can go online and get it. You can get it by going to finalcalldigital.com, finalcalldigital.com to subscribe to your Final Call. And if you here in the Atlanta area, of course, you can come by 3642 Hamilton Road, which is the Southern Regional Headquarter Mosque for the Nation of Islam under the leadership of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, to get your copy. Plus, we're all over the place. You know, I was at a festival this weekend in Lithonia, the first annual Black Dot Cultural Arts Festival, and I had a few Final Calls in my hand and some strapped in my backpack on my back. And as I'm walking around the festival, they just went flying out. People, hey, brother, can I get you got the Final Call, brother? You got a bean pie, brother? So, we had both because Baba Kazimde, who is the producer of that event, and he also owns the Black Dot Bookstore and Cultural Center, is a supporter of the Final Call newspaper. So you can go to his store on Main Street in downtown Lithonia and get a copy of the Final Call, as well as the delicious bean pie from Chicago. So had a ball at that fest. It was hot. It was hot, as Brother Jamil said at the memorial a couple of weeks ago for Minister Rahman. Inside the mosque, he says, hot as Louisiana fish grease. Oh my God. Yeah. But it was a beautiful event. A lot of dynamic. We have some brilliant people among us, for real.
Yes.
For real. I mean,
yes.
Crafts, the different types of crafts that they made and were selling. And it was beautiful too to see us exchanging currency with each other. Everybody left happy on Saturday evening. So speaking of exchanging currency too, it's almost the first of the month. This is the last day of September the 30th. So we had 5 weeks of Health and Human Services. And but go ahead. The reason I bring that up is economicblueprint.org. Economicblueprint.org. Make your 5 cents a day, 35 cents a week, $1.40 a month contribution to economicblueprint.org to buy land, and other resources that are needed in order to make us a more viable and sustainable community. So when it comes down, we have somewhere to go. We have our own land that we're producing that which our community needs. Only 5 cents a day, brothers and sisters. Come on now. This thing is right. getting to the point. I mean, you know, you see other organizations, they support whatever their cause is, however we may disagree with it or not that much into it. I think the one of those animal groups, they bring in like $140 million a year, $147 million a year budget to take care of some dogs. I'm just saying.
Wow, that's right, Brother Jahi.
If you value humans as much, it got to be politically. Don't have to be politically correct. We're not attached to any sponsors.
Absolutely
so
not.
We value humans more. So you can make that 5 cents a day contribution, $18.20 a year, brothers and sisters. $18.20 a year to the economicblueprint.org. Just one other. And you all are familiar that tomorrow night And this is an open invitation to all of those that are listening in the Atlanta metropolitan area, and you're looking to have some wholesome family entertainment and fun. Meet us tomorrow night, 7 o'clock. It's Tuesday, October the 1st, at Muhammad Mosque number 15 for our monthly family day gathering, our monthly family day gathering at Muhammad Mosque number 15. All are welcome who are interested in seeing how to have good, wholesome family fun. Bring the children with you, bring your family with you, because it is family night. For those who may not be familiar, in the Nation of Islam, under the direction of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, Tuesday nights is family night. So that's when we all get together and do stuff with family. So come on out and be with your family. I want to give a shout out to Bees Making Honey.
Bees Making
Honey.
Sister.
Muhammad
Yes.
is the curator of this dynamic program. For those of you who want to put on an awesome event that's lavish and elegant, Sister Rosalind Muhammad is your go-to person to do that. She's known for doing these wholesome, dynamic, lavish, very well put together events. So she's the curator of the family night, the monthly family night gathering at Muhammad Mosque number 15. And then you can come back and join us on Tuesday night as Minister Abdul Sharif Muhammad, student minister. On Wednesday night, doing the male-female relationship series. He and his wife, Sister Sharifa Muhammad. Awesome duo. And all questions are answered. No
matter what, Brother Jahi. I listened to it last week. Boy, yes. I'm telling you, it was some.
So you were able to catch it online, Sister Sam?
Yes, ma'am. I catch it every Wednesday. Wow. I pull it right up. Sister Canetta does it, and
on her Facebook page.
Yes, and someone else. I think it may be on the Mosque number 15 Facebook page, but I know
it's the Mosque page as well. Yes, Muhammad Mosque 15, Atlanta, Georgia. Yes,
that's some interesting stuff, and it's not all about just Muslim stuff, y'all. Y'all tuning in. It's not all about just Muslim stuff. It's just about relationships, period. And brother Sharif, Minister Sharif, student Minister Sharif, and Sister Sharifa, they go in. They go in. It's some good stuff. You can catch the replay. Yep, you can do the replay, Sister Shareen. If you've missed any of them, they have them. You can catch the replay.
I think I caught maybe 2 or 3 in person. But I haven't. Now that I know, I can catch it
on. And they also answer questions from online as well. So these are people who are not.
So from wherever you are.
Yes. They ask some real interesting stuff, y'all. So stuff that we can't put on our show.
I'm sorry.
No, I was just saying, even stuff that we can't even put on our show. We have to keep it rated PG over here.
Right. Okay, so what's the name of the page in Atlanta? Do you know?
Muhammad Mosque, number 15, Atlanta.
Okay, I'm looking for it, but I don't see it.
I was getting ready to pull it up too. And you can show our listening audience how they can.
Right. That's what I want to do. I do want to do that because that's some good stuff. I know all the ones that I've attended, they were really, really good. Really, really good. And your questions can be anonymous. You don't have to.
Oh yeah, all questions are anonymous. Yeah, even in
Brother
person.
Jahi, right? Somebody put their name on a couple of them questions last week.
They want to be known.
It was very interesting. Somebody was like, "No, this is me." It was a sister. You know how we do. He was like, "This is my question, brother." So if anybody around,
okay.
But
well,
yeah,
if you want to remain anonymous, you can.
You can.
Because most of the questions are anonymous.
Yes, ma'am. Oh yes, yeah. I found the page. Did you find the page, Sister Shareen?
I did not. So which one is it?
Alrighty. All right. So it is. I'm looking at Muhammad Mosque number 15, Atlanta, and it is, oh, that's going to a YouTube, brother Jahi. You might want to see if you can help us out with pulling that up, because it's sending us over to a YouTube page when you pull that up.
Right.
Atlanta, with
But
Atlanta
in the
in it.
meantime, we can keep it moving. I just
Yes,
was
yes,
looking
yes.
for it, um, so I could actually share it.
Right. Okay.
So when we find it, so everyone else can know how to get to it. Because health and human services, I mean, it's all connected, uh,
Yes, indeed.
with relationships, and I mean, and anything else that is involving human life, right?
That's right. That's
So,
right.
yeah,
That's right.
it's very, very appropriate for
So
this evening.
before
But
we bring up our special guest co-host, Sister
mhm,
Christina and Brother Reginald, Sister
yes,
Sandy, do you still
Yes,
have seats available, space available at your event on
I
May the 8th through the
do.
10th,
Yes, yes.
2020,
Yes, sir. I do
the
have
Inner Chambers
seats.
Women's Retreat?
Oh my God. Yes. And as a matter of fact, this weekend, well, yes, I do have seats, Brother Jahi. I have seats. So we are looking forward to, this is a women's retreat. We got the brothers. We got a Reiki class coming up for the brothers to learn about energy. But this retreat is just for the sisters. We're going to go and talk about the mind and the body, and how the mind body work, and how energy moves throughout the body, and how you can move the energy in the room. You got to do some work with self, because most people come to me and say, okay, oh, I want to be able to move the energy. Well, how about making your body move in the direction you want it to go first? How about we just start right there?
are we
How
jumping?
about, are we jumping? How
Oh,
about
it's
put the fork down? No, I'm just kidding. No, seriously. Seriously, we really have to learn how. And Mr. L. Ron Hubbard, we had Sister Naira on a couple of weeks ago talking about Scientology and Dianetics, and how, we have to get that reactive mind where we just impulse, we just do things without thinking. Getting control of the mind and body is so, so important. So yes, Brother Jahi, we indeed have seats at the Inner Chambers Women's Retreat. You can go to Soul Wisdom INTL. Oh, Sister Sharien, that's my sister. Yes, you go to Soul Wisdom INTL. You click on the events link. It should be the Inner Chambers Women Retreat. Yes, you click on the retreat and it will take you to the page. You can find out about the accommodations. You're welcome to find out about the location where we're going to be at, the presenters. All of that information is there. And there's also a little link on the page for the accommodations and the presenters where you can click and register. We are still accepting your deposits. However, you're just going to have to do a little double time, because it was extended out through to make the payment plans very affordable for everyone who may be interested in coming. So you may have to double up on one of the payments, but you do have until the beginning of the year to make sure everything is paid. But get in, you don't want to wait. We have a few more seats there still left. And if you miss this event, when you go to the page, if you decide to wait maybe another month or so, you decide to wait, say, I'm getting it together. If this event is completely full, don't worry. Don't panic. We have another event. Our next event is going to be the Mothers and Daughters event. So we want to work with our sisters first, and then we want to bring our daughters in, and then we're going to work with the brothers and the sisters together. I'll probably be networking with some of the believers who are already doing events for couples. We have a phenomenal couple here in Atlanta that work with couples already, so we'll probably be partnering up. I haven't reached out to them as of yet, so I can't say much about that. However, I am sure we'll be able to work something out, because they do phenomenal events for couples. Yes, we do have, and you just click on register and it will take you to the Eventbrite page, and go ahead and register. This weekend, we were out at the Auburn Avenue Festival, y'all. Brother Jahi we were working it from all angles. Wherever black people are, that's where we are. That is where we are. And it was such a beautiful thing to see all these Black businesses, their own products. I have one sister, Sister Shareen, that I'm talking to come to our Inner Chambers Women's Retreat. She has her own line of workout gear. She also
Wow.
has, yes, ma'am. She also have an apparatus that puts tension on the leg and the hip to work this center core, you know, that little tummy region, to tone that up. I am
Mm-hmm.
working with having her as one of the presenters at the Inner Chambers Women Retreat. We got a packed calendar already, but I'm like, I'm gonna bring it to y'all. I'm gonna give it as much as you all can handle. We're gonna be doing it at the Inner Women's Chambers Retreat, and inshallah, maybe we can have her on the show. Um, she usually dresses very without many clothes, so we're gonna probably have to work on the abbreviated version for her to give us some of those exercises that she do. But I met a sister that was right next to me, had her own water bottle speaker that she's designed. I'll have to bring that the next time we're on the air and show that to you all. So many brothers and sisters with their own ingenuity, y'all. It was such a blessing to be around us. So that's pretty much what's going on. Oh, we have a Reiki workshop going October the 13th at Your Life Center. If you're interested in registering for that, you can go to Soul Wisdom INTL again and click on Reiki, the Reiki class, and no. You got to go to Eventbrite. Go to Eventbrite and click in Reiki for Life. Reiki, the number 4 life, and you'll find the Reiki class coming up. If you're interested in learning about starting with yourself, moving the energy in yourself, and then we'll work with some energy around it, but one step at a time. So that's it for me in my neck of the woods. Oh my God, you saw our beloved sister Sharien Muhammad starting us off the program. She's so very modest. She says, I am one of the business partners with Master the Science of Business, Mind Money Matters Radio. She is, in fact, the producer. She designs all of my material. I love her to life because she just has that creative mind. You give it to her and she can take it and create something beautiful for it. Sister Shareen, my cards have been delivered. I don't have them right here with me. However, my cards that you designed for me, I want them to see the beautiful design. She
Oh
created
wow. I
the
want to see it.
QR code. Yes, ma'am. I got to let you see that card that she designed for the Inner Chambers Women Retreat. Very creative. She's designed so many things for so many different people. We've had Dr. Bugs on our show. She did a beautiful, I think, oh God, was that maybe about half a year ago? I think, Sister Shareen, you designed a beautiful plaque for him to present to UPS, I believe it was.
Yeah,
Beautiful. I mean,
that was a year ago.
that was a year ago, Sister Shareen. Now that is not what she market. I'm just saying. It's not what she
It's
market. She
not.
is very good. She is very good. I want to make that clear. It is not for free. There is a cost. And because she does many things, she's good at many things, it's going to cost you, brothers and sisters, friends and family. It's not at a discount. Sister work full time working with our babies, high school children. So in order for her to do this for us, she's got to charge us. So I don't know. Reach out to her. Send us a link to which one should they send it to, Sister Shareen? Mindmoneyshow at gmail.com. Is that a good one to send to?
It
She'll
is.
let you know. All right, My Money Show. She will get back with you. Our beloved sister is an author. She's a glam mama. We don't use those words. You see how beautiful she look every Monday, and wherever you see her, always beautiful. You will never catch her slacking. All right, Sister Shareen, I'm putting you out there
Oh
now.
my
You
goodness.
never, you
Such
will never
pressure.
catch this.
Like they say, no
You will
pressure.
never.
No
No
pressure.
pressure. You just won't. You just won't. She's a perfectionist. That's the kind of person you want on your team. You want somebody that look at the detail. I'll say, okay, Sister Shareen, it's ready to go. She's like, hold up. Brother Jahi knows. She come behind Brother Jahi. She come behind all of us. We love her. We appreciate her. All of the work that she does for us. The producer of My Money Show. Our sister, your sister, Sister Sharien Muhammad.
As usual, I have not much to say. Thank you so much, Sister Sandy, for that elaborate, illustrious introduction. All praises due to Allah. With the Agra children, we are traveling around Africa, learning the continent of Africa, learning all 52 countries, learning their locations, the languages that are spoken there, learning the religion, the predominant religions, learning all about their how they, if they're coastal or inland, learning about the currency, the commodities, so that young children can understand that there is a commodity that is exchanged for a particular currency. And we know currency is also energy, as well as it is some kind of remuneration or finances or something that is tangible or in service that equals to the value or perceived value of the exchange. So, you can exchange for things, for product, for other products, or for money, or for service. Um, so for those of you who offer services, you can make an exchange for that. So let's say you wanted to make an exchange and you do websites, for example, or you do hair, and you also need someone to clean your clothing, right? Or press and iron and fold, right? So then you can swap services according to what the two of you agree upon to be of equal value. So, anyways, this is what the young children will learn through the Agra child traveling around the continent of Africa and learning all about Africa. So, we're starting that project now, and I am ready to go to our guest. I got to sneeze. Ooh, excuse me. I'm ready to go to our guest, Sister Sandy, our special co-host, Brother Jahi. Are you ready?
Yay. We got them back.
Yeah.
We have them back, Sister Sharien, Sister Christina, and Brother Reggie.
Yes.
All the way from the Bahamas.
They have been crisscrossing the nation. I'm assuming that this is it the 31553? Oh no, 3153, Brother Jahi. They're not identified by name, so I am going to take a chance. Let's see.
Take a chance on them.
Looks like one of them are by phone.
All right. Let's see. We got a 512 number. 773. All right, there we go. One from Austin, Texas.
Alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
Let me see if I can. Let's see what's happening. Start my video. There we are.
There we know you somewhere in the guerrilla warfare. You're somewhere in the trenches in the woods. I should share this photo I took this morning, right? I'm in my kitchen, preparing my tea. I'm at the sink looking out the window and just enjoying the view of all this greenery. And out walks a doe.
Oh, beautiful.
Oh my God. Yes. And it was like the doe, the mommy, the daddy. And I'm like, are you serious? Y'all just gonna just chill in my backyard, right?
Yeah.
My garden. I know. They just take a little go. They were having a great time, but I actually took a picture.
They
weren't startled by me washing dishes or anything. They just was like, oh, we used to you. In your own kitchen, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So that when I see you, I'm thinking of you being out there and helping our people in the midst of these hurricanes and in the wake of hurricanes. And a lot of times, we just hear the news and we see the onset, we see the immediate disaster, but you're going in the wake of it after the fact.
Yes, all praise to Allah.
So give us the updates on what's going on. And is your husband on the line as well? He's in a
He should
different
be
location.
somewhere on the line. I think I see him. He called in somewhere, but I got a text for him, so he should be getting off here if he's not already on. But he should be on somewhere.
Okay.
And give us a brief intro to Sister Christina as well when she start talking, so that our listening audience, those who may not have been introduced to your powerfulness, I say Sister Minister 10,000 Fearless First Responder. That's what I call Sister Christina and her husband, because I'm telling you, this is a powerful sister and her husband.
Yes, ma'am. All
praise be to Allah.
I am Sister Christina Muhammad, and I just say all praises due to Allah. I'm so thankful for the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. I'm thankful for the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. If it hadn't been for those three, we would know nothing about disasters, but it's because of those three, and it's because of us and our upbringing and the stuff that we've gone through in our life and shaped in iniquity. This is why Allah is doing what he's doing to America right now. So it's for us, not against us, if we should say it. So I am Sister Christina Muhammad again with the 10,000 Fearless First Responders. I am the coordinator. I'm very excited. I'm getting calls daily. New teams are forming all across this nation.
Wow.
Just got my call with Florida. They're calling. They're in their training. They're getting ready to order their uniforms.
Okay.
I mean, this is absolutely wonderful. This is great news for me because, like the minister said, that these storms, this weather is going to constantly increase. And when they increase, it can't be one team that's moving around. It has to be a whole nation of those who say they are believers in the cause. And we want for our people, we want for ourselves. So we will be the ones that would have boots on the ground. So that is who I am. Praise be to Allah. I don't know if my husband's here, Brother Reginald, same exact thing. We've been moving back and forth to Beaumont, Texas. So we'll be here for a couple of weeks while we're planning on getting ready to go back to the Bahamas. And inshallah, we'll see what Allah and the messenger has in store for us to move about next. So praise be to Allah.
And I want to make sure that we mention, because we have not yet.
Yes, ma'am.
You know, that you are you representing the 10,000 Fearless First Responders, right? The emergency response team.
Yes,
and so we just want to make sure we mention that, and that you are in position and are in practice of helping other cities to get started with their 10,000 Fearless First Responders charter, or is it a charter, satellite, or tell us how that works, because I know you said that you're going around and you're doing your training, and I had the opportunity to be in one of your trainings and know the benefit of learning disaster preparedness. And constant, like, when, I was a lifeguard for 6 years, right? In my youth. in my other, I'm still young, y'all. But
that's right.
Right. So in my youth, I was a lifeguard for 6 years. And you renew your CPR, periodically you're renewing it, right?
That's right. That's
you're learning new you're learning new ways of performing this similar technology, if you will, on how to save lives.
That's right.
And so in disaster preparedness, I'm sure as you going around and visiting real life disasters, then going and simulating disasters for training purposes, each time you're learning something new, right?
Absolutely.
And so you are available to share that with other organizations,
that's right,
who are interested in being ready for the disaster. That's
absolutely
all of us, y'all.
Yes, ma'am.
So tell us about your upcoming trainings.
Trainings, we still have Fort Worth that we're getting ready to come in. We're still up waiting. Atlanta, I'm just waiting on an actual date from Atlanta, coming into Atlanta. And as far as for right now, we're just kind of going in and we're just not setting a whole bunch of calendar because we don't know what the storms look like. And I don't want to do a whole bunch of counseling. So we're just focusing right now on Beaumont and the Bahamas. And we're just keeping an eye on Florida at this particular time. So that's what it is that we're doing now. So yes, ma'am.
Excellent. Excellent. That sounds exciting.
Yes, ma'am.
Brother Jahi, I see you're in.
Salam alaikum, 10,000 fearless first responder.
Wa alaikum salam, sir. How are you?
Doing fine by God's grace. Thank you all so much for what you do and the dedication that you put forward, and most importantly, for you all being with us the entire month of September.
Praise be to Allah.
Even through your travels and your training and all that good stuff.
Yes, sir. Praise Allah.
All praise due to Allah. So at this time, I want to bring forward our first guest for tonight, Sister Christina. I think you know Sister Teresa.
I know of her. I don't think we've done a lot of working or talking together, but I do know her. You know, the nation's a whole, just a family reunion, so we know each other's faces and voices.
What you talking about? Yeah, and see, the reason I ask you that is because I'm happy because two things. I've been working with Sister Teresa now. This is our 10th year working together. Right, 10th year working together. And when I reached out to her recently to be a guest on the show, I was thinking that I was going to get, because she has a lot going on, but she immediately accepted. So I'm like, oh, praise. For those who may not be familiar with Sister Teresa, if you've ever attended a Savior's Day workshop in the Nation of Islam in the last 10 years, Sister Teresa is the person that was responsible for making sure that those workshops went off almost flawlessly. That's one of the things that she does in our nation. When we did the family conference 2 years ago here in Atlanta, that when you and Brother Reginald and Brother Rudolph took up the entire conference at the beginning, with that simulation that you all did.
Yes, sir.
It was Sister Teresa that was the director of all the workshops. So she was my go-to person. If anybody attended that and you saw me on stage as I was moderating, myself and Amelia Cartier, I'm looking at Sister Teresa. She's in the back of the room, throwing up the timeout, cut it, get them off. So she was the director of all of that, and an absolutely phenomenal sister that came out of the corporate world. In California, working for one of the large microchip makers, and did what I call a redirect in her career by going into counseling. So now for the past few years, she is a substance abuse, drug and alcohol abuse counselor in California, in the northern part of California, where she's having a direct impact on people that are having troubles. And she's very dedicated and committed to that particular mission. And she's working with a particular group among us, our native brothers and sisters, that she's working directly with them. And if we all remember from our history books that our open enemy taught us, we know the subjugation that our family has been under, and the things that was done to them, like they were done to us, to cause them to be in a certain condition. So we are honored to have with us, without any further delay, all the way from the West Coast, from the Modesto and what's the Stockton area, up in that area, if you all know California, all the way live. Please welcome for the first time, and hopefully not the last time, Sister Teresa X Torres. Salam alaikum, Sister Teresa.
Salam alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. Wa alaikum salam. Thank you for having me. It's
welcome.
Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
I hear you now.
We hear you loud and clear.
Okay. All praises due to Allah. Thank you so much for having me. First of all, I'd like to say, in the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Most Merciful, I bear witness that there is no God but Allah, and I bear witness that Muhammad is his messenger. I thank you so much, family, for having me. I'd like to take this opportunity to share with all of those listening some of my experience in the world of alcohol and drug abuse.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. What would you like to share with us?
Yes, ma'am. So Brother Jahi had asked me to come on and share a little bit of what I do. And so the facility I work in is specifically for Native American men who have alcohol and drug addictions. And one of the things that we see a lot is the insufficient services that are provided that are culture based. And I would say not only for Native Americans, but also for Blacks and Latinos, as we have been taught by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, that we have been robbed of the knowledge of ourselves. And as a result, our spiritual, our idea of who God is, we have been robbed of the knowledge of self, creator, our culture, our traditions. And this becomes a big part of our healing and our being able to overcome addictions and self-medicating and the slow suicide that exists among our people, which is not limited to our Native American brothers and sisters. And at this point, because drugs are such an epidemic in this country and opioids have become a crisis, mainly because they've become a crisis to Caucasian people. But we know our people have suffered these kind of sufferings. My biological father was a heroin addict in the 60s and overdosed in 1970. And so we know that drugs and alcohol have been poured into our community, but at this time, we do not have enough facilities to help our people to overcome this. And prison has become the facility that our people are put into. And there's a large amount, more than 50% of the people in prison are abusing drugs. And I have clients who come out of prison who have told me that they are actually heroin addicts in prison. They get needles in prison. So when you consider that our brothers and sisters are put on probation or paroled, and then they have to respond and report to these offices, and then they are drug tested and they cannot pass them because they came out as addicts. And they know that they won't be able to come out unless they connect themselves to a spiritual awakening, the knowledge of self. And so it is so important for us to understand that our people need help and our people are in crisis. And a lot of this also is a suffering of burdens that we have carried for generations, generational trauma as Native Americans, as Latinos, as Blacks, that have impacted us for generations. And so when we say that, genetics is a big part, it may be, but also cultural. And the things that we do within our culture that we do not understand the impact, including alcohol, because alcohol is so responsible for a lot of the sicknesses and diseases that our people have. And we claim that it is genetic, but it is this behavior that we have that has to be overcome. And as we know that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad used to clean heroin addicts up. And this is not something that required medication. Today, there's a program that they're really pushing. It's a medicated assisted treatment, and there are pharmaceutical drugs being given to anyone addicted to opioids. And it's become, in my opinion, another program like methadone, that it's a lifetime of drug use, and somebody is getting rich by this. And we absolutely need to have the facilities that help our people, along with the fact that to have belief in our people and not throw our people away. This is one of the things that I feel that I've been so blessed that the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan asked us to become auditors, instructed us to become auditors, should I say, because this has helped me so much. I became an auditor before I became an alcohol and drug counselor. And this has been a true blessing for me because I am able to help in a way that I am not putting my evaluation and judgment on our people. to help our people can really, really encourage them to address their burden, to address whatever it is that has them continuously going back to these addictions, to self-medicating, and eventually becoming suicidal. You know, even a lot of there's a term called dual diagnosis, where now mental health is becoming a problem, and a lot of the drugs and alcoholism is a direct connection, direct reality of why our people are becoming mentally disturbed, psychotic, schizophrenic, all of these things. And we're calling it something else, but nobody's benefiting from it except the pharmaceutical, the doctors, and our people are dying every single day because we do not understand this. And now with this marijuana becoming legal in many states, not understanding the impact that it has on our people. And it's so important to teach our people this, because the reality is, so they're making marijuana to appear that it's not bad. And so there's many people that go through treatment and feel like, well, I'm going to give up all of this, but I'm going back to marijuana. And so without the knowledge of how serious the use of marijuana really is, our people will continue to look at it like they do alcohol, that it's really not bad. And it doesn't do this or that to me, but alcohol affects so many different parts of our body, from our brain to our nervous system. A lot of diabetics are alcohol related also, along with the diet, as we know in our teaching. And so those things are very important. I think that like cancer, like prison, today we can actually say that most of our families have family that are suffering from alcohol and drug addiction. And this is not something that we can sweep under the rug, because it is real and it cannot be avoided. We must help. And last thing I also want to share is that facilities for sisters are very high demand. It's amazing how, especially in the Native American community, how there's more facilities for men than there is for sisters. And it's so important. We're taught in the teaching that 75% of the work is with the women. So I don't believe that it is any accident that there's not a comparable amount of facilities for women as there are for men.
Yeah, absolutely.
You bring up some interesting points.
Yes, ma'am.
Go ahead, Sister Sandy.
No, ma'am. Go ahead. Okay. You go right ahead, Sister Sharien.
The thing that is jumping out at me from the onset of you opening up is our people having the knowledge that substances are not the answer. You know, it's like that becomes the solution, go to, you know, in the community. It's like, you know, you have a headache, take this. You feel sad, take that. You know, you had a disappointment, do this, take that. You know, so there's a substance associated with every aspect of life. You're waking up, you need to wake up, you're sleepy, take this. You want to go to sleep, take that. As opposed to being in an environment like what we subscribe to in the Nation of Islam, where you talk to one of your sisters or one of your brothers, Brother Jahi, and you have an issue, and it's the suggestion is, okay, well, let's go to prayer, or, you know, read this surah, or, you know, let's read the study guide, you know, how to overcome, you know, difficulties, or, you know, just the being in an environment where the suggestions to solve your problems add life to your life, as opposed to subtracting life. So it's just a thought that I have. And I believe we are in an agreement with that, but I just want to know, how do we increase our efforts in attracting our people to the teachings? This has been a burning desire of mine as a child. As you said, your father was a heroin addict, and he actually succumbed to an overdose, right? Is that what you're saying? That's what you said.
Yes, ma'am.
I witnessed so much of that, being raised on 116th Street and Lenox Avenue, right across the street from the mosque. And I would just wonder, like, and at that time, the presence of the believers was like phenomenal, like everywhere, And it's like, why is it that our people would not gravitate toward that? Many did. Many did. The prevalence was there, the invitation was there, and many did accept the invitation, but so many of us did not. And it just always puzzled me, why would we be more attracted to that would cause us death, that made us look ugly with sores, and you're falling out and nodding, your skin is gray, it's not, like all of these things, there's nothing in it that's attractive. So in your work dealing with Native American brothers and sisters and Latino brothers and sisters, what have you found to be effective to call our people away from that which is killing them to that which would bring them life?
Yes, ma'am. So what I have found to be most effective is the tools that we have been given in Dianetics as an auditor, because I have never counseled anybody that is addicted to drugs or alcohol that has not experienced either sexual abuse, physical abuse, psychological abuse, no father, foster care system, all the different abuses. Along with some of my clients come from the Native American reservations, where the poverty and the addiction there is just not comparable to what we see here when they're in rural areas, not having a purpose, and connecting them back to their spiritual awakening. We have a sweat lodge, and they're able to go to the sweat lodge. If they want to go to church, they can go to church. But that spirituality, that ability to confront the burdens that they have carried all their lives. Maybe they were sexually abused at 3 years old, and some of them abused from boarding school, from churches. This that we hear is very real. And so I have never, in my experience as a counselor, ever worked with anyone who was not abused in some way. And so I know myself, personal experience is that it's a form of self-medication. It's a form of suicide, though many claim, oh, I'm not suicidal. But when you start looking at this, it is a slow death, and I really don't love myself. So therefore, while sores may be ugly, I am ugly already. I don't like myself already. So don't look at me, because I have a problem. I'm troubled. And anything that could help me to forget how much pain I have and what I'm carrying, then I welcome it. And it's not only drugs and alcohol. There are many addictions that our people suffer from, whether it be food, whether it be gambling, whether it be sex. All of these addictions do not live by themselves.
That's right.
So addressing the pain is what we have to go to. And so I feel so blessed to have this tool, because while I may not put them in an audit session, but I use the tools and they're very effective. Nobody comes out the same.
Absolutely.
Praise be to Allah. Yes, Sister Teresa, I commend you, and I'm so grateful for everything that you are doing. And it indeed, as we were sharing with Sister Christina earlier, it takes all of us. It's like you mentioned something very, very on point with reference to the pain. You know, a lot of times we don't deal with the pain of an individual. That pain of the individual, as we've learned and studied in Dianetics, is what triggers something else. And because we are all connected, guess what? We are all connected to the pain. It's not their pain, it's our pain. And I believe this is why the Honorable Minister Farrakhan is so powerful when he speaks to us, because he feels our pain. He feels it so well that he speaks inside of the pain. And so, what you are doing, you and Sister Sharien both, because you have experienced that firsthand, it has guided you to want to work in that field and do something hands on about it. And so, you know, there is no coincidence why we are born in the families we are born, why we experience the things that we experience. That's Allah's way of saying, don't worry about it. I got that. Don't worry about it. I got that. Sometimes we look at it as a thing that's, I had to live through this, but it also is a blessing. However, it is definitely a blessing. So I'd like to, Sister Sharien brought up a very important point, and I'd like to delve a little bit more into that. Sister Sharien was asking about techniques, and there are many different addictions, as you shared, Sister Teresa. Is there a difference between overeating addiction? Oh, Brother Reginald has joined us. Praise be to Allah. Jump in on this, Brother Reginald, because I know y'all see, as y'all are doing your 10,000 feelers, you dealing with the disaster, but yet you see our people who are their addictions have not disappeared. You have addictions and you have disasters. All at the same. Yes, ma'am.
And they're actually compounded now.
That's right.
Now you have a disastrous amount of stress compounded on the stress that you were medicating before.
That's right. If I can just say something when you get done, Sister Sandy.
Yes, ma'am. You, Sister Christina, you can say something. You can jump in at any time you choose.
Yes,
I just wanted us to just maybe, if we can talk a little bit about, the techniques, because Sister Christina, I know y'all have techniques that you deal when you're trying to help us. And Sister Teresa, I know you have pushback when you're trying to help somebody, and you see it. It could be something simple that they can shift in their life, and you get that pushback. So share with us, both of you, how do we help our people when they don't even want to be helped?
That's the key thing that I was going to say, Sister Teresa. You're doing a wonderful, excellent job. And this is why we must bring our ministries together. We must look at those departments. And that's why with the 10,000 Fearless, we have different departments. Because whenever we go to a basic or to any type of disaster, there are so many different things that are happening, so many different opportunities for so many people. To be honest, what we saw more alcohol beverages than any type of Cokes, Sprites. We couldn't find no teas. We was thirsty. We could find so many. We literally saw a truck full of maybe 1,000, I don't know what they call them.
Are you saying that people are donating alcohol?
No, people were still, their bars were open. People were meeting at the bars drinking. Wow. They literally, one man went to his shed where all of his beer were, and that was the spot for people to come and drink, because people want to drink their trials away. People are so frustrated, they lost everything. We had to go close to the bar just to try to get to where our people were, just to start talking to them, because all their troubles was right there at their doorstep, and they were like, this is the only way I can do it to get rid of some of the pain temporarily, was to drink. So that's why I say, Sister Teresa, we have to be able to come together. You have to bring Dianetics to a disaster. There's no way not to allow that to come, because to keep people in present time, when you say bring them to present time, I'm looking presently and I don't have anything. But it's a present time. What can we do with them? Exactly. So the pain is there, but we have to be able to come up with some type of standpoint to where, yes, I want to bring you to present time and make it comfortable, but I want you to to realize what's going on. So that's what I would ask you, Sister Teresa, in your profession, when we look at bringing our people to present time, because it's very real. But what happens when we bring them to present time, and then, you know, just to allow them to move in their pain and to be able to pick up and build?
Excellent point.
Yes, ma'am. So one of the things that's very important is that we live our purpose. And that is so important. We cannot clean our mind and our body and think that we're going to function and operate in a society that doesn't want us.
Absolutely.
But Allah has given us each a purpose. And so finding that purpose is so important, because now I'm valuable. Now I have a connection, a spiritual connection to Allah, God, Creator. Now I'm working, I'm taking care of myself. I'm not depending on somebody else. And everything on earth does that, including the animals. And we have to know that each one of us has value. I don't have value if I'm not doing anything with myself. And our conscience tells us I'm not valuable. I'm not doing anything for myself. And you talked about alcohol. You know, they say that 40% of all the hospital beds in America are filled by people who have had an alcohol related problem or illness brought on by alcoholism. And these are things that we don't talk about. This has become a common thing in our homes. You know, I went to a family event one time, and one of my nephews brought me an alcohol drink, and he said to me, he's here, Auntie, he tells me in Spanish. And I looked down at him, and he was so happy. He hadn't seen me for a while. And I said, oh, honey, Auntie is Tia in Spanish. I said, Tia, don't drink that. And he got sad. This is a 3-year-old.
Wow.
And I said, how do I bring him back to be happy? I said, oh, but you know what? Auntie likes water, cold water. And he ran back out to the ice chest, and he came back happy as can be, because now he had water. So we have become a culture that has desensitized our babies to also the impact of alcohol and drugs and so many other things that we have no idea what we're creating here. But we will pay, because our bodies will break down at every level. Our bodies and our health will break down, because alcohol affects us from head to toe from the minute we start drinking at every level. And this is why also they use people to promote alcohol, because they know it is so dangerous.
Yes.
But we think it's legal, so it's not dangerous. Marijuana is legal, so it's not dangerous. Well, we're taught, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan has taught us that a man who does not treat you right will not teach you right. So how is it possible that we can think that he's going to tell us anything that's right, all the way down to the food that we eat, to give our bodies the nutrition to actually recover our health? Because we cannot keep eating this dead food. We're detoxing our bodies. We're trying to get right, and we're eating dead food. The last thing I wanted to say on that note is the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan taught us that no single person, man, and I'm paraphrasing, can rise above the condition of our people. So while we may think we could ignore each other in our addictions, in our alcoholisms, we cannot. And I said it was last thing, but the sister asked about eating. I believe that addiction to food is no different. One of the studies that was done is that they did a study on women, and found that women that were obese, that most of these women had been sexually abused. And so eating and overeating was a form to make myself not attractive, because I am not attractive and I don't want to be attractive anymore. And so it becomes very easy to self-medicate with food, because I'm also doing something else. I'm proving that I am not attractive, because I don't believe that I am anyways. And so I feel that going after the pain and the burden, as we have been taught, can actually give us answers as to, these are the things that I did. I have to come up with my own answers. Many alcohol and drug counselors are counselors because they have overcome alcohol and drug addiction. But the reality is, just like auditors, not everyone can be that. We cannot be that just because we overcame it. If we don't have a love and a heart and the ability to not judge our people, but can go to them with love, and at times love them more than they love themselves because they do not love themselves, help them get up. I've fed brothers who are heroin addicts, had to take them small portions of food when they didn't want to eat, just to get them strong, give them water, buy them things like Gatorade, something to help their body overcome because they're crawling the walls and even feel like they're going into the ground in a house. And so all of this, in my belief, is the burdens that we carry, the pain, the sorrow, the losses, the disappointments. But Allah has given us, Allah, God, Creator, has given us all that we need. And what I tell anyone that I work with is that if I was to give you a gift, would you unwrap it? And most to all say yes. And I said, well, Allah gave us a gift of healing, and we have to go after the mind and see what we have been holding. Won't you unwrap it? Won't you open it? And some say, well, I'm not going to. I'm going to take this to my death. And I tell them, you won't take it to your death. It will take you to your death. Because I see it every day. Our people are dying as a result of addictions. And I won't say one specific, but definitely alcohol and drug and all the other addictions that we have gravitated towards. These casinos that our people go to, that was a death trap. There's alcohol, drugs, prostitution, gambling, you name it. There are no benefits for our people in this. And some might be very angry because I say this, but I heard that only 7% of Native Americans benefit. But I guarantee you that most of our people that go in there, whether it becomes a place that they go and get drugs, they sell drugs, get alcohol, it's another death trap, a trick towards our people.
No, that's absolutely beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing that. We want to get into the segment of the show where we provide solutions, where we talk about, what we were taught or are taught to exercise. It's a value in exercising, right? It's a value in exercising, and we should exercise at least 30 minutes a day. At least 30 minutes a day. We ought to exercise, with the best exercise being walking. So there are no excuses. It's just, let's do it, right? And we have our next guest, Brother Jahi, is going to bring her up, right, Brother Jahi?
I am honored to bring up my longtime friend. We've been running the streets of Atlanta for about 20 years now. She is always doing something in the community that is uplifting the community, and she has a target market. We talk about niche marketing and targeted marketing. Carolyn Hartfield is known throughout the Atlanta metropolitan area and now all over the country because she is trapezing. I'm limiting her. Please forgive me. Not just around the country, but around the world. I was able to lock her in after she came back from her 12-day excursion to South Africa with a group of people. She has a knack for bringing people together to live healthy lifestyles. And she started it at an age when thinking about going downhill. She said, "Oh no, I'm not going to buy into the mindset or so in some cases the norm that as I get older in my body and my mind degenerates." She ramped that thing up, and she's known all over the world as the healthy living consultant. She has several organizations, but one of her organizations is Opals, older people with active lifestyles, and they do have very active lifestyles, those that hang out with Carolyn. So back again, but this is the first time on the visual platform. She was one of our very first guests when we first started the Mind and Money Matters live show almost 4 years ago on the conference call platform. We're honored to have her back. In between her excursions, like I said, she just came back from South Africa last week. Now I know she's on her way to some other part of the planet. But in the meantime, in the between time, Mind and Money Matters live show business scientist, please welcome Carolyn Hartfield. Carolyn, are you there? There she is.
Jahi.
Looking absolutely
Yes.
stunning. Look at her skin.
Beautiful.
I mean, absolutely beautiful. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much
Life
for
is
gracing
good.
us. I just had to express my excitement, you know, because I just love the joy of aging. It's like very, 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 very beautiful coin phrase and lifestyle that you are promoting. So welcome to Mind and Money Matters live show and to this discussion on
Yes, welcome.
health and human services as we close this week out on health and human services. And we've been talking about some of the ills of our people going towards a negative, unhealthy lifestyle. So we're happy to bring you in to talk about the healthy lifestyles.
Absolutely. And I tell you, it's a way of life. It's definitely a lifestyle. Jahi mentioned that I just got back from South Africa. And yes, it was to actually enjoy and celebrate my 71st birthday.
Wow, look at her.
Ooh, yes,
She is
Right.
71 years
beautiful.
old, y'all.
Beautiful.
Wonderful.
Yes, and we were busy absolutely every day. And I'll just say this, I think I'm getting over a little bit of that jet lag. We had a 15-hour nonstop flight back home. And we landed at 6:30 a.m. I was home by 7:30 a.m. and I was out with my walking group at 9 a.m. So that was a good thing, just to be able to get out and do that. And I have a hike coming up Saturday. But the whole point is, as Jahi mentioned as well, I actually didn't really get into activities until I was in my 50s. I've been doing it now for 20 years. But I'm a late bloomer, baby boomer, is what I say. But it's really, really been good. And the primary thing is being out of doors, being outdoors. I'm a city girl from Detroit, and I was not an outdoor girl. I didn't go to parks. I didn't do any of that. And after moving to Atlanta, and I went on my first hike at age 56. And I tell you, it was one of the most exhilarating experiences I had ever had. I didn't realize what I was missing. And as a result of that, it literally changed my life. And I have been leading hiking groups. I said, there must be other people like me that just don't know what they're missing. So I do have now a network overall of more than 10,000 people. And I send my newsletter out, I hike, I encourage people to get involved in the outdoors. When we talk about health particularly, one of the things in a lot of the research that I do that I discovered was when you're outside amongst the trees, particularly in the forest and in the parks, because most of our hikes are in the North Georgia mountains. But what I found was when you're out inhaling the fresh air, you're actually inhaling the essence of the trees, and they're called phytoncides. And just by being out there with that fresh air, you are actually building your own immune cells. So you're getting healthy from being outside. And you know, there's a lot of talk about how a lot of people don't get enough vitamin D, and we get that from the sun. So when you're out, you're getting all of that and you're socializing. It actually addresses the mind, body, and the soul because you spirit, soul, you do become one with nature. And when we talk about being healthy, when you're out amongst nature, you just want to do better. I've had so many people that come out with me and they want to eat better. I'm also a certified health coach, but it's a natural phenomena. You just want to be a better person and enjoy nature and eat better and all of the things that come along with it. So it's just an absolutely wonderful experience that I enjoy sharing.
All right, Carolyn. I'm sold. I know you've been doing your hiking what for 15 years now, and I get your newsletters. So I will be joining you on Saturday. I'll meet you on Saturday morning. And what we
Say
going this Saturday?
what?
What we
Say
going this
what?
Saturday?
Hold him to it. Hold him to it. Hold him to it.
That's
I
right.
want to
That's Brother
come.
Bond. Bond
I
is
want to
right.
come. I want to come. I gotta witness
We want you to
this.
go Facebook Live too.
Look at it. Look at that face. Look at that face. You know we got to get you, brother Jahi. Look, I was joking with him earlier. He's right there next to. He don't walk nowhere. He look like he out in nature, but he really getting ready to get on his private jet right behind him, y'all. Y'all can't see it back there. He in
Right,
nature just to do this
You
live
might have to
recording,
go
and he's
Facebook
getting on his.
Live, Brother Jahi. We want to see.
right,
I
right.
love it. Yeah, please share that with us, Brother Jahi and Sister Carolyn, where you hike at, how we can join. Because my husband and I started a couples hiking. So I would love to connect with you and get more of us involved in hiking and breathing this beautiful air that we breathe. Yes, please. I want to definitely be a part of that.
Absolutely. Well, you can start by going to my website, which is simply my name, carolynhartfield.com. And there you can sign up for my newsletter and my meetup groups as well. If you're familiar with Meetup, I have several meetup groups. They are the Atlanta African American Adventurers, the Atlanta African American Baby Boomers, and OPOs, older people with active lifestyles. And I just know without a doubt, and I'm sure you know as well, that particularly when it comes to health, we are so behind. There's so much health disparities that we as Black people experience. So that's why my groups, my primary target are African Americans, people like me. And also, with my age, I want folks to know that as we age, you don't have to be sickly.
Right.
So you can still be vibrant and enjoy life. For my 65th birthday, we hiked the Grand Canyon. And I also took a group, we went to Belize and we were hiking in the jungle. You know, we go zip lining, we whitewater raft, we kayak. So we do a lot of fun activities, and we're actually addressing the mind, body, and the spirit, and we're having fun. And the way I look at it actually is when you're out amongst other people and just enjoying life while you're getting your exercise in, you don't even, that's not a focus because you're out in nature and you have the camaraderie and you're talking and you're walking and enjoying yourself. So it's not like, oh, I have to do 30 minutes of exercise. We're out there for several hours, you know, and people are enjoying themselves. We have a good lunch, make sure that you get a good night's sleep. So it all works together and it's all natural. It's there for us. And we're not talking about spending money for gym membership or whatever. All
that
you need
you never go to.
Right.
That's
Right.
true. That's true. All you need are some comfortable walking shoes and layered clothes depending on the weather. And make your own lunch and bring it. It's really just, I think, one of the least expensive ways to get healthy and be happy and actually live in harmony.
Beautiful. Very beautiful.
Wonderful. I have a question for both Sister Teresa and for Sister Carolyn. And I know I'm very, again, let me say for the record, I'm very happy and thrilled because I have two of my most favorite people in the whole wide world as guests this week. So, and knowing a little bit about your backgrounds, both of you come out of a corporate background. Spent years in corporate doing whatever you were doing in corporate. Then you did somewhat of a career shift. Uh, what was that transition like, Sister Teresa? You went from a major microchip organization to counseling. Carolyn went from a major telecommunications company to opening up a chain of health food stores and then living a healthy lifestyle, advocating that. What were those transitions like? And also, please forgive me, I should have asked this earlier. Please leave your contact information as well for those who want to get in contact with you. What's the best method for them to contact you? But what were those transitions like?
Teresa, you can start.
Yes, ma'am. So for me, I worked for Intel for the last 18 years of my career in semiconductor, but I did actually 30 years total in semiconductor. When Intel had a layoff, they were closing their headquarter facility in Santa Clara, California. I could have stayed within the organization, transferred, or stayed there and did something else. But I decided that I wanted to go towards fulfilling a purposeful career. And I always knew that semiconductor, that I was not born to do that. Even though I got a lot of valuable tools, I got a lot of good training that's transferable. But when they did that, I decided that they had this trade agreement that when they send processes out of the country, that they now have to retrain whoever they're laying off. And so I decided to take the package and run and get retrained. I went and completed a degree in psychology and was looking for a master's program. And Minister Farrakhan said, psychology is broken, go learn Dianetics. And the rest was history for me. I decided I'm not going into psychology. I became an auditor, but I have to use this somewhere. And so I used it in alcohol and drugs. And so for me, it was fulfilling my purpose. So I found it fed my soul in a way that no semiconductor job could have ever done.
I can totally relate to that. I understand.
Wow.
And it's very interesting.
Awesome.
Because I was with a telecommunications company and I was there for 17 years. And it was actually during divestiture that I decided I wanted to leave. And if you can believe it, that was way back in 1983. And I left. It wasn't fulfilling. And I knew that. Yeah, it was a so-called good job, making good money, but I wasn't satisfied. And I decided to leave. An opportunity presented itself, and I bought my first health food store. Didn't know anything about the retail business. However, marketing is what I did, and I learned a lot. They taught me a lot, and I was able to use that outside of the company. And that's what has helped me through the years. I expanded to 4 different locations, and my marketing paid off. And when we talk about our life's purpose, I had absolutely no idea what I wanted to do. I just knew what I didn't want to do. And with that, one of the things that I have adopted, and I still do it to this day, at least every year on my birthday, I try something that I've never tried before. And on my 56th birthday, that's when I went hiking for the very first time. And I discovered something inside of me that I didn't even know was there. So I encourage people, do something that's not even on your radar. You may find that you don't like it, but you may also find that it's something that just opens you up. And that's what happened to me. And I haven't looked back since, just moving forward and able to share with people. And I'm a much happier person
Yes,
Wonderful,
beautiful.
wonderful.
Beautiful.
One last question I have that, and it just came to me. Please forgive me, indulge me for a minute. And I'm thinking about the moves that both of you all have made, and related to something that Sister Sharien says all the time, quoting from the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, that our biggest impediments are fear and ignorance. And again, what I know about both of you all is that you move out, and it doesn't seem like, if you have fear, you've never expressed it or you've never shown it. You just do it. So, what are your processes of overcoming the fear of doing something completely new? As you said, Carolyn, every year on your birthday, you try something, you do something you haven't done before. So, what is the thinking process or the mindset process that both of you go through building up to doing those particular things?
This time you can go, Sister Carolyn.
now. Okay. When I decided to leave corporate America, I felt that it was just time. I didn't think it through. I just knew that I wasn't happy. I didn't like what was going on. And if you could imagine, back in the 80s, the early 80s, I was working in marketing at a Fortune 500 telephone company, and I worked with primarily all Caucasians. And at one time in my immediate work group, they were all Caucasian males. So I had to stand my ground a few times. And I decided I was just ready to go. And I left. I took a year off actually, and decided I would try different things. And I did. It's not, when you say getting over the fear, it's hard to describe or explain, because I just knew that I needed to do something different. And I had enough self-confidence that I had a friend tell me this. This is what I should say. He said, if you can work for someone else for 40 hours a week or whatever it is, then you can do that for yourself as well. And I believe that. And I loved what I did. It was just a matter of me making up my mind, finding something that I enjoyed. I did try a few things. I tried real estate. That helped me purchase my house. So I sold real estate just long enough for that to furnish it. But I was just ready to try something different. And when I mentioned doing something each year for my birthday, I also try and have a theme. And I remember one year was overcoming my fears. I'll tell you a funny story. When we took a group zip lining, and I was encouraging everybody, all you have to do, we're up in the trees, right? So all you have to do is just step off the platform here and the zip will take you, don't be afraid. And then it was my turn. But I did it, and it was fun. So you just have to take that leap. I watch other people. If they can do that, why can't I? Um, I just go for it. When you talk about fears, even when I moved to Atlanta from Detroit, I only knew one person in Atlanta. I did not have a job lined up, but I just felt like the time was now at that time to move on. And I had enough, I suppose, self confidence that I figured it would work out. And let me also say this, when you move like that, you have to also have the faith in what you're doing. I hear so many people talk about their faith, but then I don't believe that if you have the faith and you believe that you will be taken care of, you can't have to. I just don't think they go together. So if you're really a believer, you have to step out and do it. And that's
Step out and do it.
but that's really um, what my foundation is built upon.
That's beautiful.
Fantastic. And that one person that you knew here, who was that?
I'm sorry.
The one person that you knew in Atlanta when you moved here?
Yes.
Who
Her
was?
name is Audrey Christian. We work together at the telephone company.
Okay. The reason I asked, just a real quick back side note, we met at Al Wiseman's place
That's
almost
correct.
20 years ago, and Al is from Detroit as
Okay.
well. So y'all, there was about 20 of us that met at this brother's house. We were about to take over the speaking world because looked out over the horizon, and all of us were professional speakers or budding professional speakers. And we noticed that there was only, like, what was it, Carolyn, one black person at the time that was doing anything. That was Les Brown, the motivator whom you worked with.
Yes.
And so we all got together and plotted our strategy, and we made a few moves to do that. So that's where it all began. All right, small world, small world. But thank you for sharing that, Carolyn. And let me say this before Sister Teresa give us her perspective. Again, I want to thank both of you all. I really appreciate you. Been a dynamic show. I'm going to still be here, but my jet is waiting, and the pilot said they're gonna charge me extra if I don't come on and get on board, so I can uh so I can make it to FOI
That's
class in
right.
a
That's how
reasonable
we do
hour.
it.
Uh,
That's how we do
so
it.
I'm
That's
going to
right.
be here. I may not be as participatory, but I still will be on the line. But I just want to say thank you all to everybody, to Sister Christina, Brother Reginald.
Yes,
Thank you all.
sir.
Thank you so much for being the soldiers that y'all are. And we definitely gonna talk in case I don't get a chance to say anything before we close out.
Yes. Awesome. I just wanted to say, if I can, sister, you're absolutely beautiful, and I can see the peace and serenity on your face as you actually sit there. And this is where we get to when we talk about the disasters. And I hear you and Sister Teresa, what you're talking about. This is our goal for each and every person that goes through a disaster, right? To come out on the other side and to find that inner peace. And that's a very, very important part of dealing with our disasters. And I wanted to, at some point, sis, I don't know when we do have our brother, our student minister, the student coordinator from Little Rock on, and he kind of talks a little bit about that, but we brought him on the show because we had just went to Little Rock, Arkansas, and we had the training, and we done stirred up all the emotions, and we got to find out how we get back to that peace and serenity for our brothers and sisters we went to. So I just don't know what time you wanted him to come and maybe speak a little bit about the training, but I did want you to know that he is on the line here. We have the phone with us, so he can kind of talk a little bit about that. So you just let us know when you're ready.
Yes, ma'am. We can. You want to bring them in, Sister Sandy? We can bring them in.
I have
visual?
no,
He's on
ma'am.
the phone here. He'll just be speaking on our phone here.
Oh, he'll just be speaking.
Yes,
okay.
ma'am.
So how do you think we want to handle that?
Well, let's see. Let's bring the brother on. Please go ahead and introduce him, and inshallah, hopefully we'll be able to hear him to share a little insight. And please, Sister Teresa and our beloved Sister Carolyn, if you can stay on a little bit, we get a little update from our beloved brother there. Go ahead and bring him on, Sister Christina and Brother Reggie.
Okay, praise be to Allah. So here we have our student coordinator from Little Rock, Arkansas. Again, as we came back from the Bahamas, we went to a training there in Little Rock, and it was absolutely phenomenal. We got a chance to stir up a little bit of emotions there. And our brother, he does work hard in the whole entire state of Arkansas. The mayor was there, so we got some really good applaud and things that what we do. So we have our brother Kerry. Are you on, Brother Kerry? Can you hear?
Yes, ma'am. I'm
Wa alaikum salam. Can you all hear him? Okay,
yes,
good.
Ma'am. Yes,
yes,
ma'am.
Sir. Go ahead. They can hear you.
Oh, praise be to Allah. Well, first off, I would like to thank, Master Muhammad, for coming, giving to us this knowledge and bringing us together. And I thank him for raising the most honorable Elijah Muhammad and not leaving us comfortless in this time and giving to us, a leader, teacher, and guide in the person of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. And just like to greet y'all in the greeting words of peace. Wa
alaikum salam, sir.
And, want to thank, Sister Christina, Brother Reginald, and their whole team, for coming to Little Rock and really giving to us, a training that can make us saviors. We know that, this war is a spiritual war, and we're saving our people. And on the battlefield, is trying to save our people, spiritually. But when we deal with natural disasters, we were getting a training that can make us saviors of our people's lives, saving them physically from what's going on. So, the training that we received, I would say it was priceless. The workshops that were presented, here in Little Rock, from communications, physical training and physical self-defense. The youth that came out, everybody enjoyed it. The mayor, told us that she was honored, to be there. And one of the things that she loved about the nation is that we were proactive in dealing with, what's ailing our people. And, here in Little Rock and here in Arkansas, we do go through many natural disasters, and we know that they're going to increase, like the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan has already warned us. So we can't just act like, we're not going to have to, at one point, come in contact with our people who are dealing with that, or if the believers are dealing with that. So, what we received from the training, it was priceless. I'm thankful to Allah, for what Sister Christina and Brother Reginald gave us. If you haven't experienced that, I would, recommend everyone, invite them to experience, what they brought to Little Rock. The last workshop was a simulation of an actual disaster. And, that was a disaster that they, simulated in the mosque, something happening in the mosque where we would have to go in and, save believers. And, that, like Sister Christina mentioned, it brought up emotions. We had people who were, actually breaking down and crying, based on, what they experienced. But, I would have to say that, the tools that we were given, gave us the confidence to know that, if something does happen, if we're training for that and practicing, for that, then we can get through it. So I would say that was the gist of what we received. Definitely have to invite y'all back, and so we can get more of our community out and give them the tools that they need, to help save their lives.
Excellent.
So thank you again, brothers and sisters.
Wa alaikum salam.
Thank you so much for sharing that, because that's so very important to our survival, and not just survival, but to our advancement into the life and life more abundantly that we are promised. We are promised this life and life more abundantly, but it is not by magic that this happens. It's by our participation in the activities that will give us life and give us life more abundantly, regardless to the circumstances that surround us. Sister Carolyn, I have a question for you, because you are embarking on this, or you have been doing this, right, for 20 years now? You said you started at 56, where you started this journey of each year on your birthday, you're going to try something different, which led you to a passion of helping others experience the joy of aging, because that can be catastrophic in itself. I actually was dealing with a client in a crisis situation at the realization of I'm aging. Like, oh my God, it just doesn't, things don't look the same. I don't have the same kind of rebound, things like that. And so this can be like a catastrophic experience, but you're experiencing it in a way that is joyful. And so you're saying the joy of aging. So can you share with us, how you have helped others who may be looking at it? Because I'm thinking perspective, even with Sister Teresa and what she's doing, it's like the perspective of our so-called Native American brothers and sisters to come from a space where they looked at the outdoors as a joy, as the rain dance, and just like just experiencing life and in the outdoors in a different kind of way. And now that has turned into something catastrophic, something where now I have to turn to alcohol and drugs to medicate, because my reality is not peaceful, so to speak. So, from your perspective, Sister Carolyn, as we're taking ourselves out, and I'm going to ask Sister Teresa to share as well, but from your perspective, how have you been able to assist the aging to see aging as a joyful experience versus, oh my God, I no longer, because I'm looking at your skin and it is absolutely
phenomenal,
beautiful.
Yeah.
I mean, it's tighter than mine.
Yeah.
And I'm 55. So, I'm saying praise be to Allah. It's absolutely beautiful. So can you just share with us how you have assisted others in changing that perspective of the way they look at life, looking at it from a joyful lens versus a catastrophic, oh my God, I'm aging.
Let me tell you something that actually happened that I guess opened my eyes, but it's just been a matter of me doing what I enjoy, and apparently that's what comes through. I received a Profiles in Positive Aging Award from AARP, and I was just overwhelmed, I guess I can say, because it was simply for living my life. And that's what I do. I love what I do and I enjoy what I do. And I think that's one of the keys to enjoy your life. And without going too far off of the subject, when I mentioned you want to do better, you want to eat better. I eat all natural foods basically, and organic, and I am vegetarian. So it's just, I drink a lot of water. I don't drink anything but water. And I actually go out and I have speaking engagements. I work with the Atlanta Regional Commission. I teach Tai Chi, and my primary audience are people 50 and over. I go to senior centers and get them involved. And my biggest thing I have to say is when I do speak and get involved in various places, I tell my age so people can see, and not just see people on, no disrespect, on canes or whatever, but I want them to see what 70 plus can look like and how you can enjoy your life. And I believe being able to show that is much better than talking it. So I definitely try to walk the talk.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. Thank you so much for sharing that, and thank you so much for being a vessel from which you're being used to help people to see the value. And I love the fact that you said that you were vegetarian. It's a goal that we all should have. You know, there's this whole craze towards veganism, and veganism is not the answer. We're not taught to eat as a vegan where we don't have any meat byproducts, you know, but vegetarian is the goal. So I'm grateful for you sharing that, sharing your life with us. I love the joy of aging. I'm smiling. I'm aging, y'all. I'm 55. It feels good. It's great. I'm excited. I am doing what I love, you know. So, Sister Theresa, wanted to say to you that with the perspective, because I want to just close out on perspective, because I really believe in looking at the glass half full versus the glass half empty, you know, being optimistic versus pessimistic, you know, settling on the best part, as we're taught in the Nation of Islam. Our language is settle on the best part. We do not care about the poor part, right? So when we're settling on the best part and you're helping our brothers and sisters who are so-called Native American and Latino, so-called Hispanic, if you will, what are you doing to help to reshape the perspective on how we look at things? Well, could you share with us?
Yes, ma'am. And I also want to say that I help my Black brothers and sisters also.
Oh, absolutely. We're all one and the same. That's why I keep saying so-called, you know.
Yes, ma'am.
We say so-called, right? We say
absolutely.
That because we are all Black.
I understand.
But that is a divisive tactic to have us look at ourselves differently.
That's right.
There was a alarm that came up about 20 years ago that said, oh my God, the Hispanics are going to outpopulate, right, everyone else, and really the Caucasian, right, who are the so-called majority. They're the so-called majority. But we know that we are 4,400,000,000.
Come on now.
We are way more than that. But the tactic to control is to make us think that we're less than. So we're given the name minority, and then we're splintered off into many groups. And when that alarm went out, then there was a change in all government sectors in the profile sheet to now everyone has to identify themselves as Hispanic and then check what race you belong to, right? And many of the so-called Hispanics still to this day are clueless on, okay, well, am I Native American? Am I Asian? Am I Island Pacific? Am I Black? Am I white? They don't know what to check, you know. But anyway, I'm not going to digress into that. We want to talk about the perspective.
Yes, ma'am.
Because I really want to encourage our audience to encourage others to look at things as the glass half full. We're on our way up. We're settling on the best part. We are being optimistic. We are looking at the joy of aging. It is not a decline. It is a joyful experience.
Right.
And we can live life and life more abundantly through the practices as we have been taught that are best practices for us. So go right ahead, Sister Theresa.
Yes, ma'am. Well, before I start, I wanted to say, Brother Jahi asked about the communication avenue, and mine would be email. It's SIS for Sis, Theresa, SisTheresaX @gmail.com. I would say knowledge of God and self.
Would you just repeat that for me, ma'am?
The email? SisTheresaX @gmail.com.
Yes, ma'am.
So in regards to glass half empty, half full, I would say to fill the glass of the knowledge of God and self has been very empowering, and it has worked for me. You know, Brother Nuri Muhammad, student minister Brother Nuri Muhammad, said one time in one of his lectures that fear meant false evidence appearing real. We have been taught to fear. We have been trained to fear, enslaved by fear. and even today are still living in fear. And so for me, growing up in a very challenging, as a child, very challenging environment, difficult, leaving home at 16, and then being connected to the Nation of Islam and getting the knowledge of God and getting the knowledge of self, and having the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan talk to the issues that were very real to me, gave me a sense of empowerment. And so showing others who they are. The brothers that are in treatment, I have them create a tribe presentation presenting 11 facts about their tribe. And so we create a PowerPoint presentation. They can present whatever 11 facts they want. And it is amazing to see how they get pride and, wow, this is who I am all this time. Even though I lived on the reservation, I didn't know all of this about my people. And so learning about who I am, so I don't have to no longer settle that I am nothing. You know, as a child, I always felt like, oh, I'm like Cousin It from the Addams Family. I'm no one. I don't want to be black. I don't want to be white. I just don't want to be. And that is most of our people. And so teaching that knowledge of who we are in reality. Also, another question about fear that Brother Jahi asked, you know, the prison ministry. I was involved in the prison ministry in the state of California, and seeing how our people are enslaved and don't come out of that revolving door system helped to eliminate the fear, creating goals and actually taking calculated risk. A lot of us don't achieve our goals because we don't have a plan. We just say, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, and don't lay it out. How am I going to do it? What is the time? Is there a measurable goal? This has to be done. And so a lot of us even create New Year's resolution, and by 2 weeks, we're not doing it because we didn't have no measurable goal. And so all of these things are so critical to our success. And we have to teach others how to do this. How are you going to lay this out? Because these are the things that you need in your life. And once you start doing that, it feels so good that I have too much to lose to give it up. Wow. And I have a purpose now in my life, and Allah is with me, and I can do this, and Creator will help me, and Creator helps no man or woman who doesn't help themselves. So
excellent,
get up.
Excellent. Beautiful. Thank you so much for that, because it takes us right naturally into the 10,000 fearless first responders and preparation and having a plan, and how that helps to remove the impediment of fear. And the first thing I thought about as you mentioned that, Sister Teresa, is the act of raising the tone scale. And I see that in all of us that are on this platform, is raising the tone scale from fear, past anger, to past boredom, into happy and joy. I mean, that is where the execution of excitement happens, where creativity happens, where we begin to create the bountiful, glorious joys that life is intended to create. So Sister Christina and Brother Reginald, thank you so much for being on. Share with us preparation and planning, you know, share with us how we meet and overcome the obstacles of fear with the 10,000 fearless first responders.
You want to go?
I got you.
Well, when we talk about preparation, you know, there's a saying, ain't nothing to it but just to do it. And love prepares all. That's the biggest thing. But you can have love, but the first and most foremost thing is to have love for yourself. And that's what I look like in when we're preparing and what we teach when it comes down to any of the training. Before we do anything such as search and rescue, before we go out and put any fires out, before we go out and to do anything that may bring harm to ourselves, we have to think 5 times before we speak, and then we may be right. So there is a form of moving quickly and swiftly and making things happen when it comes to disaster. But I think in preparation, you have to consider yourself first in everything that we do. So that's the most important thing that I'm looking at, that I'm listening to the two of you, that I'm listening to, that we're thinking that we're just talking about other people, but we're talking about ourselves, right? Because ourselves too have come from disaster. So when I see the two of you, it gives me this thing, this joy inside. It's like, yes, you know, that's me. You know, I want to find out what this hiking trail thing is. And I want to, you know, I want to go to my sister with the Anipes because I've done that before. I went in and done training with our Native Indian brothers and sisters, and it's absolutely beautiful. And we have to be able to come into present time ourselves. And I think I have to be honest, that's the only thing that will keep me and Brother Reginald at bay to consider even moving out swiftly to be able to run. The minister said, it's interesting what we do. He said, because we're focusing on running to the disaster while other people are running away from disaster. And many people ask, what would even allow you to do that? It is preparation of finding out who you are. Why are we doing what we do? And that's the whole key thing where you have to constantly talk about this, you know, yourself. People say if you talk to yourself, then you must be crazy, but you're not crazy. You're talking to yourself because you're trying to find out who you are, right? And whose you are. So the preparation comes from learning about who you are and whose you are, and then you're able to move out and do what it is that you do. So I thank the two of you. You're absolutely beautiful. I love what you do. And thank you all. Thank you for all that you do. And I'll let my husband, Brother Reginald.
Assalamu
alaikum.
We are, well, she lost us. So hold on.
Did I lose you? No, I see you.
No, you do. Sister Christina moved something. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
No, I hear you. We hear you clearly. Go ahead.
Praise be to Allah. So I would like to say this. You know, I was listening to the whole show, even though I was on a different line. But I wanted to say this. You know, even when we were in the Bahamas, and you talked about preparation, it was ironic that a brother was talking about how he was preparing for the storm in Dorian. And he was talking about how he was a mobile barber, but he said he was taking care of his family the whole entire time. He said while everybody was sleeping, he was up watching the storm. He was watching how strong the winds were coming in. Mm-hmm. He was watching how much water was coming into his house. He was preparing his family while his family was asleep in their beds and in their home. And he said, Allah is God, brother. And I said, what you just say? He said, Allah is God. He said, brother, the king watched us. He said, my home was spared. He said, but my car had some little water damage, but for the most part, he said, my home was spared. He said, but look around. And then when he showed us around, he said, look how many homes around us that was not spared. He said, not only that, he said a lot of these homes wasn't fixed since 2016. So that should let you know that no one's preparing on this island. Mm-hmm. He said, so he said, what you guys are doing and what you guys are bringing to the island, he said, we must do more. He said, because if we do not do more and another flood comes, he said, what are our people going to do? And he showed us there was a lady, it was a sister, mind you, she was 4 to 5 houses down, was the oldest sister on the island. She was 104 years old. Wow. And he said she was trying to get prepared for the last storm and she didn't get a chance to prepare. So she lost a lot of things as well. So in order for us to prepare, and in order for us to prepare our community, the minister said we must first have love. And there's the phrase that we coined, the 10,000 Fearless coined long time ago. It's called protect what you love. So we're trying to protect what we love in our communities.
Excellent, excellent. So we're going to go out on this note, you all. And that is the thing that sticks out in my mind right now as we are closing out on the Ministry of Health and Human Services for the month of September. And we're going to enter into the month of October dealing with the Ministry of Justice, which has to do with law, justice, and all of those things which impact us all, of course. And we represent the Ministry of Trade and Commerce, myself, Brother Jahi, and Sister Sandy. I want to close out with this note, and that is what I get from all of you, Sister Teresa, Sister Carolyn, and Sister Christina, and Brother Reginald, is joining on to like-minded individuals. That's right. You know, some of us will spearhead, some of us will be members, some of us will be helpers. We don't all have to initiate. You know, there's something unique with an initiator. There's also someone who actually manages and carries it on. But join on to an organization or group and get involved and find your passion and get prepared and move past fear. You know, we do this together. We help each other. You know, so that's the thing that I've heard throughout the whole month of Health and Human Services, is that it is a service that we are all providing to one another, although we represent trade and commerce and we talk about the business of it all. We also are looking forward to and gaining knowledge and information by sharing on to like minds. So as we leave you, as we came before you in the greeting words of peace and paradise of Assalamu alaikum, go join that. And that only simply means peace be unto you. Our dear sister Carolyn Hartsfield, she's not in the nation, she's not a Muslim, but she is by nature that, because she submits to do the will of God. And that's all Muslim means, is to submit to do the will of God. So follow what your track of life, your passion, get involved, do something. Don't let disasters just take you out. You know, we get in, we put our boots on and we get our hands in the dirt and we build and we prepare, we plan and we act. We take action. Drugs and alcohol is not the answer, never have been, never will be. Stay away from that. Start exercising, and we look forward to seeing you next week on same time, same station.
That's right.
Mind and Money Matters live show. Thank you so much, all of you who have contributed to the show. We love you. We appreciate you. And we pray that somehow you have been enriched by your experience here with us with Mind and Money Matters live show. Until next time, peace and blessings.
We love you. Thank you so much for having us.
Yes.
Love you.
Thank you.